There are plenty of people just like you that are realizing the importance of exercising your right to safely own a firearm and know how to protect yourself, but you don't know where to begin. Instead of rushing out to the local gun store and buying what's popular, let's think about your particular situation and what makes sense for you. That way, when you do buy your firearm, you've thought through how you're going to carry it, how you're going to use it, and you've done what makes the most sense. Now, for the ABCs of concealed carry that you should be considering, A, accessible. So you want to make sure that it's easy and quick to draw when you need it. B, bearable. Make sure it's comfortable. If it's painful to put it on or to wear it, you're not going to do it. C, concealed. Make sure that it's hidden. By law in most states, you have to do that. Even if you have a permit for a concealed carry and someone sees it or it's exposed, you can still get in trouble with it. Now here in Texas, we have open carry, which means I can literally walk down the street with a 44 mag on my hip and it's legal. I, however, choose not to. For me, I'd rather have a firearm hidden until I need it, and I don't need to put a bullseye on my back for the bad guys. Okay, first situation, let's talk about standing or walking. I'm going to show you several options and go through the ABCs of these. The first one is a shoulder rig, and as you can see, it's very concealed if I'm wearing a coat. Now, in hotter climates, you don't always want to wear a coat or it's going to be uncomfortable, so you got to think about how bearable it is. Accessible though, it's very quick to reach in and pull, in this case, a Glock 23. The other benefit of this particular model is I can carry 2 spare magazines as well, just in case. So that's the shoulder rig. The next one let's talk about is an inside the waistband holster. Now there's an index carry up here, which some people like. It's very quick if you think about grabbing it very quickly. I prefer to carry a 4 o'clock carry these days. So as you can see, as long as your shirt's down, it's concealed. Pull it up and quickly access, in this case, an XD. There's no accommodation for extra magazines here, but you can easily buy something like this that's a little belt mounted for spare magazines. The third thing in this outfit is going to be a pocket carry. So I can quickly pull, it's accessible, it's bearable, it's comfortable to throw in a pocket, and this is a little snake slayer. Now it's only a 2-shot, but it's a 45 long Colt, so it's got plenty of kick, and it's still better than nothing if that's your only option. Okay, next situation, you're not wearing quite as much clothes that's easy to conceal. Maybe you've got just some running shorts on, out at the park, whatever it might be. There are still options you can have. First of all, you should always have at least a knife, right? Because not every place allows firearms, so that's something that you can carry that's still very accessible, comfortable, and concealed, and is better than nothing. Now, in terms of firearms, for this particular situation, I have a wraparound, and it's something that's very accessible. Again, using the Glock as an example. Not only do I have this, but it also holds a spare magazine. And it's bearable, right? I can wear it comfortably doing whatever I'm doing, and it's also concealed. So that meets all our criteria. The other holster option I haven't talked about because I don't use it is some people like to do an ankle carry. Now, for me, I don't like it because I don't like the idea of having to reach down that far and make that much motion to let the bad guy know that I'm reaching for something. But it's just another option I'll throw out there. Again, you have to figure out what works best for you. Okay, next is driving. Driving is a little bit unique. Your body is not straight, it's bent, and you have unique obstacles such as seat belts to worry about now. So let's think through the options we just looked at and how they're affected by being in this situation. If I have a shoulder rig, and I'm again using my Glock as an example, if I have a shoulder rig, it's still very easy to draw, right? So it's still accessible, no problem. However, if you're doing an appendix carry, if you're doing a 4 o'clock carry, anything else really is going to be a lot more difficult. So what I tend to do is if I'm not doing a shoulder rig and I'm using one of the other options, I'll simply lay it on the floor. I can reach down and access it, barely moving my torso, in a car like this where you're fairly close to the ground. Now on something where you're sitting up a little higher, there are different devices and accessories you can buy that might give you different mounting positions for the firearm. So again, it's a new situation to think about. Now, I'm also a motorcyclist, which gives me yet another situation to consider. I'm not a moron. I would never ride in shorts and no shoes or flip-flops, of course, but for what we're doing here, it's fine. So let's think again about the ABCs, right? A shoulder rig is going to be highly accessible, everything great, and even if it's hot outside, often on a bike you're wearing some kind of protective jacket, so it's more likely that a shoulder rig would be a good choice. An appendix carry, I've tried it and it still hurts because that barrel is just driving into your thigh. It's just not comfortable for me anyway on the way I ride. A 4 o'clock carry is a little bit added peril in this case. The main thing is the C component, the conceal. If it's back there and your shirt's blowing in the wind, it's not going to conceal your firearm. So that's one thing to consider. Worst case would be the firearm flies out of your holster when you hit a bump. So again, a new set of situations to consider. Okay, next situation to consider is home defense. And let's be honest, this is one of the main reasons a lot of people buy firearms in the first place. So you may not have to consider bearable or concealed, but you still need to think about accessible, and you need to consider the new situation. You're going to wake up in the middle of the night, you're going to be half asleep, and you're going to be fumbling around for something, so it's got to be easily accessible and it's got to be effective. You need to think of everything from the kind of ammunition you're using, and just do everything you can to make sure you minimize stray rounds and that you're effective with your firearm. So as far as pistols go, this is what I used to keep next to the bed. A Glock doesn't have an external safety on it, so I don't have to worry about that, whether that's on or off. The other thing I like about it is I put Trijicon sights on this one. And so seeing in the middle of the night is tough enough, especially when you're just woke up. But the Trijicons give you a step up at least in trying to be accurate with your aim. And I'll demonstrate that. Hopefully you can kind of see the two little green dots, and there's one on the front too that's not quite showing up here, but anyway, it gives you 3 dots across that you can line up on your target. Okay, so let's say I wake up in the middle of the night, sit here and this, and I need to grab my firearm. So again, thinking about the situation, it's going to be dark, right? What I have here, this is what I choose, is to use one of my rock and load cases by the bed. It's guitar shaped, so nosy neighbors, nosy maids, they don't need to know there's anything in there except a guitar. And because I play guitar, it's more believable in my case too. It's a solid Safeway, American-made case. These are available on my website. You can check out the link below. But all I have to do is grab this, and I can easily grab my pistol, which, as I said, is no longer my first choice. Now what I can grab is the AR. So the reason I prefer an AR for home defense now is that the EOTech optics available on this are amazing for target acquisition. You do have more rounds without reloading, and very importantly, you have a longer barrel, right? So that long barrel is going to mean more accuracy when you're shooting, and that's even more important when you're in the home. So a lot of advantages to this. A shorter barrel is nice for going around your house because it's in tight corners and that, but any of these options are great. So this is something I consider, but the other thing then to think about is other logistics, right? And this is why it's important to just think through your situation and how you might use or need your firearm. So let's say that I run out, but I'm like, well, I don't know, there's a whole bunch of people out there and I may need more ammo. I'm in a pair of shorts, I may not be able to put on a belt or throw something in a pocket. So I can reach in here and I can pull one of the spare mags it holds, and I can put them in a little utility belt that I keep by the bed, throw that over a shoulder, and then I can run with that. So just, again, thinking through your situation, what's going to work best for you. Hopefully this information was helpful, and you now have a better idea of what to think about before buying your firearm. These are the ones I used in the video in case it's helpful to you as you decide what's best for yourself.
You may all go to hell, I'm going to Texas. Well, I'm damn glad that I came down to Texas.